doing? All right. Co-host of Birds 365. What a weekend this baby's going to be. He is the one and only Big Z, Zander Krause.
What's up, Big Sills?
How you doing and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, brother. Good first hour and a half of the show. It's a good one. You're on fire today, Big Sills.
Tell me what you're feeling, man, heading into this ball. By the way, you ain't buying any of this bullshit. The kid's playing Sunday. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm not buying any of the bullshit. Mostly because John McMullen tells me I'm not allowed to buy any of the bullshit. He's going to play. They manipulated it for a couple weeks. Do I agree with that strategy? No, I don't. I would have rather have gotten my quarterback out of the protocol and getting some reps in practice before the playoff game, but they went about it a different way. He will play, though, in this game. I'm a little concerned on Rust a little bit, but not over the top. I think he'll be all right. Should probably shake it off pretty quickly. I'm feeling pretty good, though. I mean, I just listened to a clip of Brian Baldinger, who we've had on the show many times before. He's predicting 4-0. Eagles go 4-0 in the playoffs and raise the Lombardi for a parade down Broad Street. Now, I don't know why Baldy thinks that, but just listening to the clip got me a little bit fired up. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm going to have to get Baldy on then. I'm going to see if I can get his ass on tomorrow. The reason I keep checking my phone is because Eric Allen has radio responsibilities. What'd you think of that clip he sent me? Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah,
his family taped that thing here, him lighting the torch this past week, and that was pretty dope.
Yeah, really dope. Really dope. I like that you guys are getting closer. He's a legendary Eagle right there. So
absolutely, man. Hey, all right, Zander, are you a little concerned? Excuse me, wait a minute. Yeah, WIP, what? Hold on, Zander. Hang up for a minute. You want an interview? If you could do me a favor, I'll be done at around 6 Eastern. Yeah. Hold on, Zander. I'll be right there with you. Yeah, I'll do a Zoom. We'll be ready to go. You good? No. I'm ready to. Oh, Zander, I'll be right there. Hang on, Krauses, who absolutely saved my career. Hang on. Okay, I'll be right there. I'll talk to you at 6. Thank you, guys.
Good skit.
Oh, here we're back now.
I hate it, though. I hate that the NFL lets this happen. Don't you?
Yo,
the whole interview process.
I don't hate it for Kellen. I hate it for the players, and I hate it for the organization. Dude, you just packed in the Saquon Barkley fuck. Get this. Here's what I hate about it. You ready? You fucking told Saquon Barkley he couldn't go for an all-time record, and you're letting a position coach interview during the week when you're going to play the Packers, and you're telling me you're focused? That's fucking bullshit that you're doing that. That's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, but
so
it's not Kellen's fault.
You're rewarding Kellen more for his work this year that Saquon Barkley did, but Barkley couldn't sign it off and put a bow on it with 2106. Bullshit.
Are you still crying about the record?
No, I'm crying about the way they do business.
Well, that's the way they do business. What do you want me to say? I mean, it sucks that they're interviewing, but it is what it is, man. I think it's going to be a low-key factor in the NFC playoffs. How many calls is Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn going to get?
Oh, tons.
They're going to get every call. Every team that wants a coach is going to ask to interview those guys. Think back to 22 when we were dealing with that with Gannon and Steichen and all that crap and Jonathan Gannon. I'm not effing leaving from his G-Wagon, and then he leaves. Then like a couple days
after something in Scottsdale.
Yeah, I mean, come on. So I'm used to that. We have history of that here in Philadelphia. So I hate the whole interview process. But what are you gonna do? I mean, these dudes want head coaching jobs, man. That's the pinnacle. So they're all gonna go for them. And I get your point about the record, but I'm over it. I'm so over the record. Honestly, I've talked about it enough.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what, Big Sil's got receipts here. Hey, Zander, I'm either gonna be right or I'm gonna be wrong. That's how I love to do my show. Ain't no bell curve. Either right or I'm gonna be wrong. How you doing? We're gonna find out. It's a single elimination game.
That's what makes your show great.
By the way, I just saw something here, which was really cool too. Okay. Let me say this to you here. So, you see all the odds. The Lions are favored to win the Super Bowl. The Ravens are 2. I was shocked, ESPN. Then you got the Chiefs up. The Eagles are the 5th favorite team to win the Super Bowl. Let me think.
That's about right.
Lamar Jackson. Really? You think? Do you think Kansas City has a better roster than Philadelphia?
I know where you're going with this.
Do you?
No, I do not.
You beat the Ravens, didn't you? Didn't you beat the pants off them?
We beat them pretty good.
Oh, they're favored over you. I mean, you think the Bills have a better roster than you?
No, they definitely don't. They're not. They might have the worst roster of all the top 5.
Here's the most important one. Do you think that the Lions have a better roster than you?
I think they're comparable, but not with all these injuries.
No, right.
Eagles have all 22 for week 1 starters available. Assuming Jalen Hurts is back.
That's so insane. That
so
3 years.
Anybody who's in the chat or anybody who's listening, or even you, Big Sills, who's going to give them shit about the whole and I was there too. I'd rather them be a little bit hard nosed, but they ain't changing shit, because this is 2 of the last 3 years that they're going into the playoffs with all 22 starters available. Remember the Super Bowl year 22? We had all 22 starters available for that game as well. So they're not changing anything about their approach to keeping players healthy. There's no doubt about that.
I surely hope they win it.
Yeah.
I really hope they win
Good
it.
enough results now for me to not care anymore.
Okay, all right. I got you there. So what's the one common denominator that the reason that the Birds, I think the Birds are probably the 2nd favorite next to Detroit. And then I would put Kansas City 3rd. And Buffalo and Baltimore at the end of that. I wouldn't put them ahead of them. They've already kicked the shit out of them.
What's the top 5?
What?
What's the top 5? Wait, let me guess. Lions 1, Chiefs 2.
Here, I'll tell you. This is the ESPN index. It's the ESPN index that they had and they released for the postseason.
Somebody tagged me in it. I didn't see it yet.
And again, by the way, Merrill Reese is on tomorrow with us too. I just want you guys to know that he's going to be on tomorrow. And today at 4:30, I got it backwards. It's Wayne Larrivee. Okay, here it is. Detroit, 25.8% according to ESPN Power Index. Baltimore 2nd at 13.8. Kansas City's 3rd at 12.3. Buffalo's 4th at 9.7. And Philadelphia comes rolling in at 8.4. Well, let me think. Golf, Lamar, Mahomes, Allen, Hurts. What doesn't fit? What doesn't fit?
There's definitely more questions nationally, and the public perception of the team is there's definitely more questions about our quarterback from those people than, or even I think just in general from Vegas, from all the people with money, from any way you look at it, than there is about those quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen's never been to a Super Bowl, so I get he's a great talent, but he's never proven it to me. Same with Lamar Jackson, who's the greatest October player you'll ever see in the history of the world, and then he just doesn't do that when you need to do that. Jared Goff has the benefit of a perfect system with a perfect offensive coordinator. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he executes that system flawlessly, but I don't think he's this major talent guy. I mean, he's super accurate, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's that big of a deal to me. I see what you're saying, though. The Eagles are 5th because of their quarterback versus the other teams are 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th because of their quarterback.
I would say this to you. If I was going to rank rosters, Eagles 1, Lions 2, Kansas City 3, Baltimore 4, and Buffalo 5. Those would be my 5 rosters. Funny how they're not looking at it as the best teams because the quarterbacks separated.
We should do a power ranking of the quarterbacks in the playoffs is what we really should do.
Bo Nix and Jalen will have a tough time battling that last spot. Hey, by the way,
Wait, really? You think Jalen would be the bottom?
No. I think he's probably 7 or 8, somewhere there.
Wait, let's real quick on the fly. Let's entertain this for a second. All right,
Wait a minute. Bob Brown said, "What? Who's Sil's kidding? Eagles win the Super Bowl. We'll hear. Yeah, I was wrong. I said you'd lose. You had the best roster in football, so you should have won. How you doing?"
All right,
Bob.
You got ready? You got in the AFC. You got Mahomes, Allen.
Hold on, let me bring this bitch up here. Let me bring up the schedule here.
Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stroud, Herbert, Russell Wilson, Bo Nix, and in the NFC, you got Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold, Jaden Daniels, and Jordan Love.
So you want me?
I don't like the sound of this already.
Hey,
I don't like the sound of this already.
Oh, I love it. I
know you love it.
Here we go.
I'm already my brain is firing on who's going to be where, and it's not looking good right now.
Okay. So Zander wanted to rank.
Let's do it. I'm going to do it. I mean, I said I'll do it. I'll do it.
Hold on here. Let me see. Well, Mahomes is 1.
Mahomes is 1.
I got Allen 2.
Me too. And then Lamar. Raiders just fired Antonio Pierce, by the way.
I just saw that.
I don't know why they wait. Why wait till Tuesday for the guy? Just fire him on Monday, like everybody else.
Isn't it the same teams doing the same shit every year?
It really is. How about that dumbass owner from the Jaguars with saying that with his GM on the line? I mean,
and how do you keep Trent Baalke? He fucking
stinks.
I mean, how do you?
And then the Titans fire their GM after 2 years, and keep that coach who hasn't done anything. Like some of these teams are just they make these decisions, and you're like, oh God. All right, 1 Mahomes. Even though he's not the number 1 quarterback this year, I'd probably put Allen as the best quarterback.
Yeah, but we're talking postseason.
Yeah, we're talking postseason. This is a different animal. I'm going Mahomes, Allen because he always plays good in the postseason. They don't win because they're playing up against the Chiefs, but Allen always plays damn good. Lamar's not the greatest postseason quarterback I've ever seen. In fact,
I think the AFC title game last year. You did get to the AFC title game last year.
Lamar.
Okay, so 4.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go Stafford.
I'm gonna go Jared Goff. I like Jared Goff a lot.
Oh shit, I'll go Goff.
I'm gonna go Goff, and then I'm gonna go Stafford.
Me too. That's it.
And then I'm gonna go
6.
I might go Herbert. Is that too high?
No way. I'm going to go Mayfield.
See, I like Mayfield maybe a little bit better.
I'm going to go Mayfield and then Herbert.
Okay, I like that. That's probably me too.
And 8, I'll go.
I'm going to go Darnold at 8.
Darnold at 8.
And I'm going to go Stafford at 9.
I got Stafford at 5.
Oh, yeah. I had Stafford higher too.
I got, let's see here.
Let me erase that.
Let's see here.
I'm going to go Jaden Daniels probably.
You're going to put Jaden Daniels. That's okay. I like that. Jaden Daniels at 9.
Actually, no, I'm going Jalen Hurts after Darnold. I know. You know what? Fuck it. Scratch Darnold. I don't think Sam Darnold's a better playoff quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Stop with that shit. That was dumb by me. Jalen Hurts has performed amazingly in a Super Bowl game.
I'm talking about this.
Sam Darnold, the lights get bright in a fucking regular season Week 18 game, and the dude's throwing the ball all over the yard.
I'm talking about a guy who can actually throw the ball. So I'm taking it's.
That's all you care about.
I'm talking about 2024. I'm not talking about just one fucking game. I'm talking about So wait, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Goff, Stafford at 5, Mayfield
I'm
at 6,
revising my list.
Herbert at 7, Daniels at 8.
I'm revising my list.
Let me see here. Daniels at 9. I'm going to go Love at 10. I'll go Stroud at 11. I'll go Hurts at 12.
Stop.
Bo Nix.
Stop.
13. Who else? Russell Wilson. I'll do Wilson for 14. So here's my list. 14 quarterbacks. Mahomes, 1. Allen, 2. Lamar, 3. This is based off of this year, too. Mahomes 1, Allen 2, Lamar 3, Goff 4, Stafford 5, Mayfield 6, Herbert 7, Daniels 8. Daniels 8. I've got Jordan Love. I mean, no. I've got Darnold 8. I got Daniels 9. I got Love 10. Stroud 11. Hurts 12. Bo Nix 13. And I got Wilson at 14. There's Big Sil's list.
That's a pretty good list.
Yeah. Hey, can you do me one last favor, too, before I hear your list? Make sure you give me the total of the numbers for the quarterback at St. Joe's Prep this year. I want to see if they.
Fuck off.
I want to know. Hey, man, I just want to know if the guy at St. Joe's Prep had a better year.
Ready for my list?
You're
not going to like it. 1 Mahomes, 2 Allen, 3 Lamar, 4 Goff, 5 Hurts, 6 Stafford, 7 Mayfield, 8 Herbert, 9 Darnold, 10 Daniels, 11 Love, 12 Stroud, 13 Bo Nix, 14 Russ.
Oh my God! Anytime somebody puts Jalen Hurts in the top 5, you just fucking go, "What are you doing, guy? What are you doing? What are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing?"
I've seen Jalen deliver in the playoffs, man, at a high level.
Yeah, he's 2-3, but hey, we'll see. He's played great in 1 game.
That's true. No, he played good in the 22 playoff games. He didn't have to do much in the conference championship, but he was the reason we got it.
20 yards in one of those games. He threw for like 110 yards in one of them.
Dude, we had like 3 touchdowns on the board in the first quarter versus the Giants because Jalen was going up and down the field. He started the game like 10 for 10.
Who was the MVP of the NFC title game?
MVP at when? 22?
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Listen. All right. Let me get to. I want to do something else with you here. I want to go to the Packers here. Oh, wait. By the way, since we did that, it's the final top 10 of the year. I got the final top 10 quarterbacks. I got the MVP. I've got the Rookie of the Year. I sent that vote in, and I hate to tell people it's not going to be good for you.
Look at all the people crying. Hurts over Herbert is insanity.
Yeah, I know.
Even Herbert. Homer. William, fuck off.
Hey.
You called me a homer when I said predicted 14 wins, too, didn't you, William?
Here is the Big Sil's top 10 NFL teams for the year. I got the Chiefs 1. I got the Lions 2. I got the Bills 3. I've got the Ravens 4. I've got the Eagles 5. I've got the Vikings 6. By the way, I think any of those top 5 teams can win the Super Bowl. After 5, I don't think so. And get this, if you want to go Eagles 3 and drop the Bills down, sure, okay.
Yeah,
I think any one of those top 5.
So you had what? Chiefs, Lions,
Eagles, Lions, Bills, Ravens, Eagles. Any one of those teams can win the Super Bowl, I believe. Okay. After that, you got Vikings, Commanders, Chargers, Rams, Bucks. I don't think any one of those teams.
I think the Vikings are toast. I think they're toast.
Okay, do you agree? There's 5 teams really in the league right now.
Dude, I think Sam Darnold's using NyQuil right now to fall asleep at night. He's still got the jitters from that Sunday night.
Make sure you guys are writing this down here. Okay? Make sure you guys are writing this down.
What? Writing what down? That Darnold?
Because you're taking 60 minutes of a season like you took 60 minutes of a Steeler game and you started talking to me about some sort of crazy passing game the Eagles don't.
No. You're right. I'm taking 60 minutes of a season. But what was the only game of the regular season this year for any team, any game that was played that felt like a playoff game?
Oh, totally. That
was it. That was the only game.
Like an NFC title.
Sammy Darnold turned to a freaking pumpkin. My guy was seeing ghosts everywhere out there. So
that guy, hey, listen, dude, that wasn't a playoff game. That had an NFC title game feeling to it.
It did. That was a damn good game.
Okay. Yeah, by the Lions here.
Anticipation-wise and everything like that. Darnold didn't play well, but I like watching the Lions team. I think they're the best team in the NFL. But I'm giving Chiefs the number 1 because you're 15-2. They have the best coach. They figure out how to win every single game, it seems like. Doesn't matter how their quarterback plays. Doesn't matter who does what. They just figure out a way to win, unless they have Carson Wentz, obviously, playing, of course. Patrick Mahomes is the great equalizer. But I'm going Chiefs 1, Lions 2, Eagles 3, Bills 4, Ravens 5, Vikings 6, Bucks 7, Commanders 8. Those AFC teams. I don't like those AFC teams as much.
How about the Chargers?
That's the one I'm over. I'm either Chargers or Packers.
Chargers have a better D.
And a better coach, probably. I like Harbaugh.
Me too.
I'll go Chargers, then Packers, then Broncos, then Rams, then Steelers. Those are my playoff teams ranked.
Yeah, you think that the Vikings are toast. How about them Steelers?
Yeah, they're toast too.
Here's my top 10 quarterbacks that finished up the final regular season. Number 1, Josh Allen. Number 1. Number 2, very close. I could have went Lamar. Dude, I think, you know what, Zander, do you think there's a shot they could share the MVP this year?
No. The guy who boosts himself up, who parades himself around for not being a fence rider, just tried to split the MVP award in two. That's the worst take I've ever heard Dan Sileo say in my life. I'm not even kidding you. That is the worst take I've ever heard you say.
I can't defend myself on that one.
You just tried to split me. You get a cookie and you get a cookie. No,
okay.
Pick one. Are you kidding me? I got Josh Allen.
Okay, well, I'm going to do you now. Fuck you. Okay, you got me.
I'm going Josh Allen on the MVP for me, man. Look, I like what Lamar did. Lamar has better. He's got 8 or 9 Pro Bowlers on that team. He's got a Hall of Fame running back he's handing it off to. Zay Flowers has turned the corner. If you took Lamar off that team, they obviously wouldn't be as good. I think they could win some games. I think they have a good roster. If you took Josh Allen off the Bills, they might be 3-4
5-win team. Right?
They might be 3 or 4 wins. So I'm going Josh Allen MVP this year for me.
I got Allen, Lamar. Third, I got Burrow. Top 10 quarterbacks. I got Goff 4. I got Mahomes 5. I've got Mayfield 6. I've got Darnold 7. I've got Herbert 8. I got Stafford 9. And I got Stroud 10.
Can I predict something about CJ Stroud? You want me to not ride the fence?
Okay.
All right, I won't ride the fence. And I will admit if I am wrong on this, as I always would if I am wrong, everybody. I think CJ Stroud might have been a one-hit wonder.
Well, he has won 22 games the last 2 seasons.
I don't see it anymore. He looks like he's got happy feet. I don't see the calm, the poise, the accuracy. I don't see it right now. Now, I know he lost some players. I know he didn't have an awful season. I'm making a big take here. I don't like him anymore. If I had to pick Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud right now to start a franchise, I'd pick Jaden Daniels. In fact, if I had to pick CJ Stroud or Baker Mayfield, I'd probably pick Baker Mayfield right now. If I had to pick CJ Stroud or Jalen Hurts, I'll take Jalen Hurts. If I had to pick CJ Stroud or Jared Goff, I'll take Goff. There's basically not I might even take Bo Nix.
I don't buy that at all. I think I threw if you're calling a shitty year 3,800 yards, then what is your guy?
I don't think the stats tell the full story. I really don't.
Well, they win too. They're in the playoffs.
Wait, can I say something to you about stats?
Wait a minute. How in the world can you fucking give Hurts credit for being in the playoffs consecutive years and not give CJ Stroud credit for being in the playoffs too? I mean, look, they came out of that Deshaun Watson nightmare, and this guy has resurrected that fucking career, that franchise.
You're right.
Into being decent.
I know I'm in the minority. I understand that CJ's done a lot to prove a lot. In fact, I thought he was going to be a superstar after last season. I had him in my top 6 quarterbacks after the year. But I don't know, just a gut feeling. When I watch the game, when I look at it, I don't see it as much anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Did you hear what Jaw said about Love? Called him overrated.
Yeah, I did see that. By the way, let me say something to you about stats. This is why I hate stats. if you look at Josh Allen's stats this year, and no, I am not insinuating that anybody I will compare him to here is better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the best quarterback I will compare him to right now. They're eerily similar to Jalen Hurts' 22 stats. 3,800 passing yards, 16 rushing touchdowns, like 20. He has like 26 or 27 passing touchdowns, I think, somewhere in that range. I mean,
with lesser talent.
Way lesser talent. But I'm just saying, sometimes, like, you're not going to kill Josh Allen for that. That's what his team needed this year. His team needed 16 rushing touchdowns. His team needed a lot of ground game. He didn't have great receivers, so he didn't have 4,000 yards. I know you can't say that about Jalen, but it's just a point about stats that I don't think they tell the full story. Like,
no,
Josh Allen, if you look at Josh Allen and say, oh, he's never going to throw 4K, I'll say
analytic metric. That's all they are.
Yeah,
they're analytic metrics. I mean,
he killed Hurts for throwing 3,800, though.
Yeah, because to my opinion, anybody with 2-star receivers like that,
that's fair,
and a running back like that, you should be throwing for 5,500 yards.
Well,
I mean, okay, let me ask. Give me the stat line on what you just play a game with me. What do you think Burrow would do in that huddle with that talent with
on the Eagles?
Yeah.
Please don't make me think of that.
With the O-line.
Sileo, it's a playoff week. Don't make me think of that right now. All right?
Hey.
He probably have
$6,000.
If you throw 5,500 yards, that means you're losing a lot of football games. Think about it. He would. Everybody's saying 5,500.
That's funny you say that. The year Brady threw for the most yards, they got beat that year.
Yeah, and I mean you're playing a lot of games. Like if he's throwing 5,500 yards, we're going to be beating teams 27-0 at halftime, for crying out loud. They're not going to be throwing the ball like that in the second half. So I think he'd probably have 5,000 yards, but.
What do you mean? He had $5,000 almost this year in the Bengals. I'm talking.
Yeah, but that's because they were behind every game.
That's
so
true.
He was throwing so much all year. Like, how many attempts did Burrow have this year? He must have.
Oh, had to be in the 600s.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
And you're right. They're throwing from behind.
Wait, so listen to this. The Bengals have the passing leader in the NFL, the passing yards leader and touchdowns leader. They have the Triple Crown wide receiver. They have the leader in sacks in the NFL, and they didn't even make the playoffs.
Because their defense is ranked 30th. Okay, I mean, hey, it's one thing to put up all the numbers. It's another thing when you can't stop people.
Yeah.
Here's the MVP. I put my
652 attempts for Joe Burrow.
Holy piss. What
does Jalen have this year? 400?
425. How you doing?
Later,
the guy at St. Joe's prep through more times this year.
I wish I could pull those. It's Hendrickson, Trey Hendrickson, Jason 18.
Yeah. He had a really good year. No, he led the NFL in sacks.
Yeah.
Here's the MVP voting, and I sent it in.
He had 17 and a half sacks, by the way.
This is the different one. This is the Players Association. Allen 1, Lamar 2, Barkley 3, Goff 4, Burrow 5, Mayfield 6, Darnold 7, Daniels 8, Herbert 9, and Derrick Henry 10.
That's pretty good. Who are your top 5?
Can I tell you who I debated with Derrick Henry? I'm thinking I probably should have sent in Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I mean, even though, think about it, Zander. Saquon Barkley only outrushed Derrick Henry this year for 80 yards.
I know.
There was only an 80-yard difference in those two.
And what did Lamar throw for this year? Oof.
4,200 yards.
Yeah.
So don't talk to me. You can't do both. They did both. Okay.
Yeah, the whole narrative of like the reason Jalen.
But you know what's funny
is not good.
They did both, but at the expense of losing ball games. They dropped the game to Cleveland this year.
I know. They didn't. I didn't think they had a good year.
I didn't either.
That's why Lamar's not my MVP. Like,
and I don't think he's going to win in the playoffs.
Wait, so just think about this though. What were the Ravens' expectations coming into the year? They were high, right?
They won
so
the AFC.
If I told you before the year, okay, your expectations are high, and your quarterback's going to play like an MVP, you would say, all right, the Ravens are going to win 14 games. If I told you before this year for the Eagles, with Saquon Barkley in this roster, Jalen's going to have an MVP year this year, you would have predicted 14, 15 wins for the Eagles. So why did if the Ravens have the MVP on a team that was expected to be better than they are, why is that MVP deserving? He clearly wasn't the most valuable player in the league. It's clearly Josh Allen, who had way lesser expectations, who has a way worse roster, who had to do way more for his squad to win the amount of games they won. And by the way, he won the bigger games. Lamar lost to the Eagles. Who else did Lamar? Like you said, they lost to Pittsburgh once. They lost to the Browns once.
Allen beat the Chiefs.
Allen beat the Chiefs. I mean,
their only real
Lamar's
loss.
Not my MVP. I'm not saying he didn't have a great year, but Lamar is not my MVP.
Here's the Rookie of the Year.
Lamar's not even 2 for me, by the way.
Put up Burrow in there?
No.
Who?
Jared Goff.
He doesn't get enough respect.
He does not get enough respect.
Do you agree with me when I say this? If that guy closes the deal and wins the Super Bowl, that'll be 2 conference championship rings, a Super Bowl ring, 3 conference championship appearances. He's going to probably retire with over 65,000 yards. He had an amazing passing year. He's near 70% in completion percentage. Zander, how do you not look at him as a Hall of Fame candidate if he wins a Super Bowl with all that postseason success?
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
And I can't stand. I mean,
I'll tell you what, he will be a legend in Michigan if
oh my God,
a legend.
I
mean, they already talk about they like him. You know, more, his time in Detroit has been more memorable than Stafford's. Think about that. How many years was Stafford a Hall of Fame?
Over a decade. Over a decade.
I mean, and you have 3 years with Jared Goff, and the amount of winning that they've done, you know, that fan base loves that dude. If that dude brings a ring for them, and by the way, I told you something before the show that I'm going to say publicly right now. People aren't going to like it, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's genuinely how I feel right now. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't come to fruition. When I look at the Detroit Lions right now, when I watch the Dan Campbell post-game interview or post-game locker room stuff, when I look at some of the behind-the-scenes footage that the team releases, when I look at how they communicate, when I watch Jared Goff get asked on the post-game show on Sunday about his coach, and he damn near cries, I see a team that has the feeling of a really special team. Think about it. Think about it this for the Eagles, guys. You lose 12 starters and you still win 15 ball games to clinch the NFC. You have the best offense in football, scoring 34 points a game. You lose David Montgomery and you don't miss a beat. Like in Philly, we'd be saying, this is special. This is special. This is the moment. Look at how Detroit has a feeling right now that unless they fuck it up, and they very well might, they have the feeling right now that I think they could win the whole thing if they get there. I really do. That's just how I feel. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's a special team, man. It's going to take the Eagles' very best to beat them. I'm not saying we can't do it. But it's going to take our best, I think, to beat that team in Detroit.
Let me give you why I think Goff feels that way and why I've always had a problem with Hurts and his relationship with his coach. When you look at Jared Goff, who was the number 1 overall pick, and the number 1 overall pick is traded away and he delivered you an NFC title, brought you to a Super Bowl, and you're sent to a Detroit, one of the lands where quarterbacks go to die. Chicago, the Jets, Detroit, you go there to die. They were looking at him as a stopgap guy. Nobody had faith in him. You know what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes did? They sat there and they watched this guy last year before he got his giant contract of $53 million a year. They saw this guy and what this guy had gone through. I think the lessons that he went through with that journey and Dan Campbell buying into it, because remember, Dan Campbell started out 10-1. I mean, they were not winning games. Campbell stuck with him, put his ass on the line for him, and he feels obligated because that guy took a leap of faith on him where even Sean McVay cashed his chips in on him. Nobody thought he was anything. Nobody thought he was this. Then they turn around and they give him a $250+ million deal. I would cry too, because that guy had the faith in me. Hence, you turn it around with Hurts. And I say this, how could you not be in a position where, if you're Jalen, where you feel obligated to the Eagles for what they did to you? Nobody wanted that second pick in Philly. Everyone goofed on it when they drafted him in the second round. They had just given Wentz the $38 million deal. Then they turn around and they build the greatest franchise and greatest roster in the history of the team around him. And what you get is a guy who waffles in his loyalty to his head coach. My problem with the relationship with Jalen, in my opinion, I think he struggles with relationships. Supposedly he has a problem with A.J. Brown. I mean, he really has a back and forth relationship and a waffling relationship with his head coach. You see players that gravitate to one another and coaches who gravitate to those guys. It's on display. Right. I think that comes out, in my opinion, on the relationship with Dan Campbell and with Jared Goff better than it comes out with Nick Sirianni. You know what it looks like? It looks like a forced marriage in Philly. It doesn't look like that in Detroit.
I agree with that. I think that's a good take by you. What do you take away from that, though?
I take away that you just have to deal with his different style of person. I'm not saying he's not a good teammate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that he's just a different guy, where Goff is more genuine in expressing himself better. Maybe that's more of it, Zander, is that Goff expresses himself. Dan Campbell surely expresses himself. But why does the quarterback and the coach look more genuine than Nick? Maybe it's the organization too, because most of this shit is forced. Then you have
I do think there's a weird similarity between Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, but I don't believe Nick. I believe Dan.
Well, can I ask you why? Because I'm not a big fan of him.
The organization makes it that way.
Yeah, but the players play for him.
That's right. Right. Okay, wait.
Because what I'm saying to you is I believe that the players playing for a coach is the best indication of whether a coach is believable or not in what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's 53 grown professionals who are making millions of dollars to play sports, believe in them, then I think he's doing something right. And when I say I think there's comparisons to Dan Campbell, I think, by the way, I think you're overall right. They do come across as more genuine. But I think part of the reason both of them are so different yet so successful is because they're kind of similar. They're emotional. They wear their emotions on their sleeve. They stick to their guns in the middle of games, whether they go down for it or not. At least that's what Nick did in 22. I think there's an element of those two guys, I think, a realness to them, even though Nick is goofy. Like, you're goofy. I'm goofy. I'm goofy as hell. People probably watch this and think I'm goofy. That's cool. I'm me. You know, I try and be as real as I can. If being goofy is fine. Being goofy is not the problem. I think he's real. I think he wears his emotions on his sleeve. I think people can connect with that and relate to that, even if it looks a little goofy at times on the outside.
Okay. I'm going to, Amber, I'm going to use a little bit of what you're saying here to what Zander's saying. Personally, I think Jeffrey Lurie gets in the way of having an absolute great relationship between the players and the head coach of Philadelphia. I think the Fords and I think Brad Holmes allows Dan Campbell to be as genuine as he possibly can with his roster by giving him the autonomy that he needs to do whatever he wants and whatever he says. No organization in his right mind. Do you think you think the Eagles would have played those guys on Monday night, turning around knowing Sunday? They would never have done that. Campbell wanted that. Campbell said that there was unfinished business. I think the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles gets in the way because you're right about something. The things that are said in the locker room are clearly why the players like Nick Sirianni. The things that Nick Sirianni says outside the locker room at the press conferences are forced. They're written on a hand notebook. You're coached. And it just doesn't look. And what they do to Nick is they basically emasculate him publicly most of the time in front of his team because he's got a bullshit lie to people. Campbell's not lying. And this is something we've never broached, and this is a great conversation here because Nick Sirianni really can't be Nick Sirianni when he stands in front of a mic. He's got to constantly lie. He played that fucking stupid game today. What hurts in the pro? I mean, fuck, man. Dan Campbell would have answered that. He goes, "We'll be ready to go this weekend. He'll be ready. We'll be all right." I mean, nobody's gonna like fucking do anything.
Yeah,
And,
see,
and
I
to me,
think all the things you're saying about Nick that are, you're right, they're not redeemable. They're not the greatest things. I think all of those come from the organization.
it
I really
does.
do. I think all of his things that piss you off, all the things he does that make you like, what the hell? Most of them are organization based. I really think that. I mean, what you just said, the way he is in press conferences, dude,
It's uncomfortable.
Bob Lang is on our ass. The Eagles don't give us a fucking dollar. I don't owe the Eagles shit. Can you imagine what Bob Lang is like to Nick Sirianni before he goes to the podium every week?
Can you imagine if you had a real relationship with them and you had a business relationship with them, what that guy would be doing? Xander, he'd put more guardrails and handcuffs on you. I mean, but how about this? There's more handcuffs on Nick Sirianni being the head coach of that organization. Remember what Frank Reich said when he initially got the job? You know what he said? If you know how to handle yourself in the Eagle organization, you're going to go a long way. If you don't, you're going to get fired and you're going to get pushed out the door like Doug did. That's exactly it. And you know what? I think they do a disservice to how and maybe who he really is. He might actually, because you're right. What I see in the locker room and what I see at a press conference, those are two different dudes. They're two different guys. You can't hear players go, I love playing for the guy. I love working with the guy. I heard Kellen Moore today go, I really like what he does in his preparation, coaching the coaches. Everybody's aligned. Everybody kind of knows what the guy stands in front of a mic. He sounds like an asshole. Yeah. And he sounds not, how about this? They make that guy sound so much not like him, and they make him act so differently in front of a mic. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
What? Dan's uncomfortable. Dan's uncomfortable in front of a mic in the right way. Hey, man, we're going to fucking go after people. We're going to eat fucking knees. We're going to do this. He just has a way and sounds genuine to me, man. I mean, I don't know.
DC, let me just check you on this. DC, what's up, bro? He checks in and says, when Nick is himself, you guys kill him for it. Detroit doesn't treat Campbell that way. Yo, Trucker, look up the story when you get a chance. You can type in Dan Campbell has to sell his home. He had to sell his home after the playoff game last year because he went for it on a 4th down. So
in an organization that has
listen, Trucker, you're not wrong that Nick gets crushed when he's himself, but don't say that they don't do that in Detroit.
Hey, Trucker,
get crushed.
The Lions haven't won a championship in 68 fucking years. That guy takes them to a conference title game, and Lion fans are acting like they're Eagle and Kansas City Chief fans. Pump the brakes there, guys. You guys have sucked for decades. Imagine that, Xander. The Lions haven't won a championship in 68 years. 1957 is the last time that they've won a championship. Okay, Wayne Larrabee's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Do me a favor. Let's get to these super chats.
Let's do it. By the way, appreciate everybody in the chat. Hit that like button.
Thank you, guys.
Where's this guy, Mr. Alex Perez? Alex, you're back on a new account. He's still chirping about your daughter. I don't know why he can't keep your daughter's name out of his mouth. It's weird. People have a weird fascination with weird shit.
No, what they try to do. No, it's easy. You know what it is? I feel bad for him because he's trying to get my attention by going after something that he knows is near and dear to me. But you know what we all say at our house? Thank you very much for the algorithm.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, I don't.
I get it. Yeah,
everything in this
over the line
for it to be a bulletin board for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's over the line. Yeah,
stupid. Maverick says maybe people are different. Maybe because people are different. I don't know what you're saying that to. I guess the coaches.
Yeah, the people are different. There's no doubt. No but what I don't like is the Eagles making them in their mold, not his mold. You see, the Eagles are trying to mold Nick Sirianni in their image, not his image.
Here we go. Clifton Parker checks in. He says, you're comparing Jalen to a first-round pick quarterback. Is he not playing above his draft stock, which was a backup quarterback?
Yes.
Name QB taken in the 2nd round and below, outplaying him. Clifton, this isn't 2020, dude. He's on a second contract. He got paid like a top guy.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking
$50
about.
million, Clifton. It's over with.
Yeah, but once you give a guy a second contract and you give it to the tune of what they did, you're
53.
no longer, you're comparing him to a first-round player. If you're a first-year guy in the league, okay, that's a good comparison. I'll take that. But second contract, I'm sorry, I don't agree.
That's not a good take. That's not.
Clifton sent a super sticker as well. Clifton, I do appreciate it. I didn't agree.
Yeah, by the way,
I do appreciate your support. Thank you, brother.
Hey, Clifton, it's sports talk, my friend.
Well, I think Clifton understands that.
Hey, Nick, if Stratus had a bad year, what's Hurts had with the talent around him?
I agree with Nick, though. I don't think Stroud's been good.
Well, then what do you think Hurts' year's been? They don't get to the playoffs. How about this?
Hurts hasn't had a good year.
They don't get to the playoffs without C.J. Stroud. Do you think the Eagles make the playoffs in the NFC without Jalen Hurts? I do. With Barkley going for $2,000, I do.
Who would be the quarterback, though?
I don't know. They'd find one. They might win 10 games. You telling me you don't think they'd win 10 games without Jalen Hurts? I do.
Well, if you look through a couple of the games, like I think there was a couple of games there that we probably would have lost if we didn't have Jalen Hurts.
How about this? I'll make this point to you too, and I said it earlier, though. There is no chance in hell Barkley has $2,000 without Hurts in the huddle. There's no way he has that. Why? Because of his threat.
Right.
Because of the threat he brings. He probably gets 1,500 with a drop back guy, but there's no way he gets $2,000 if there's just another dude back there. I don't believe that.
Toby K checks in. He says, Sidney Brown is a missile out there. Love his no fear attitude. Do you think he can be a reliable starter at some point? Your both show is amazing. We Eagles fans in Germany love it. Go on, guys. Toby, appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Toby. Thank you
really
very
cool.
much.
We got it from Germany checking in. That's dope, isn't it?
Hey, Toby, I would say this about Sidney. Let the game slow down a little bit. He needs to work on his form tackle and his angles a little bit better. But when you've got a guy like Vic, I heard something also that Nick said that on Saturday, you hear what he does? He goes over the proper angles and tackling certain players that you're going to play on Sunday. You need to be here. So like when you go Derrick Henry, you know what he was saying? Don't get him high. Right. Do not hit Derrick Henry high because he'll run you over. We've got to be waist high on this guy. And he's teaching fundamental skill sets on how to tackle Jamar Chase, how to tackle a Justin Jefferson. I think that's really great, man. That's really detailed coaching.
Good stuff there. I think you got this, right? This was before I came on. Mikey Shreds checked in. O-line didn't trust Hurts in the pocket. Yeah, good stuff there. We got one new one here. Matt Ing checks in. He says, would you agree the Packers are in a similar position to the 2023 Birds with the late performance slide and injuries? I think, Matt, they only lost 2 straight, and the one game they lost was to the Vikings, who were real hot at the time. So I don't want to say it's that big.
Matt, here's where I disagree with that. I actually think the Packer defense has picked itself up a bit in the last couple of weeks. I think they've actually gotten a little bit better. And Kellen Moore has actually said that too today, that they've actually picked their game up a little bit. They've got good star players pretty much at every level. D-line, linebackers, and in the secondary, especially Xavier McKinney that they got over from New York, who's been an absolute godsend for them when it comes to making plays. I mean, they've picked their game up. They're heading into this game Sunday, Zander. I think the Packers are way better than they were defensively in week 1 than they were. They're better right now.
Remember, I think this is a first-year defensive
coordinator. The offense is wobbled.
First-year defensive coordinator that came from college.
Yes.
So he's not, like, week 1 was not the right look at him. I agree with that. They're better now than they were, and they got some good guys playing well. Clifton Parker again. Clifton, thanks for all your support, bro. Appreciate it. He says Trevor Lawrence, Tua, not outplaying Jalen. And he's saying that because they're 2 first-round picks. Yeah, I agree. Clifton, the only thing I'll say is I stopped comparing Jalen to guys based on round after he gets his second contract. Now I'm comparing him to the elite players in the league. And I think it's fair to do that, but you're not wrong. He certainly is playing better than some.
You want to compare Jalen Hurts to 2 guys that are in the playoffs? Okay. I mean, if that's what you want to do. Who said that? Who said that? We said that giving Trevor Lawrence $55 million and giving Tua $50 million was the right move. I'm not giving a quarterback in Miami that kind of money when he's not reliable in the lineup. And what has Trevor Lawrence done? He's got great ability, but in my opinion, that ability has to end up playing itself out where you win games. That's got to equal, and I haven't seen it. And if you want to compare your quarterback to two guys that haven't made the playoffs, then go right ahead. Hey, 150 likes. Let's get that up, guys, please.
Yeah. By the way, I want to go real quick back to Matt Ing's comment. And he brought up whether they're in a similar position to the Birds. I actually think the Packers are in a similar position to themselves last year. Remember, they came in as a wild card versus the winner of the NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys, and they were on the road in that game. This is same scenario for them now a year later. You know, going into enemy territory on the road in the wild card, basically not expected to win the game, nothing to lose against the winner of the NFC East, and this year it's the Philadelphia Eagles. So they have a weird. Now listen, Philadelphia is not Dallas, and Lincoln Financial Field is not AT&T. So it's going to be a different atmosphere for sure.
Absolutely.
Nick Marchetti checks in. He says, "I'd say Steelers are 2023 Eagles right now." Yeah, what were they? 11-3, and now they're 11-6.
Yeah, right. Yes. Okay. Well, remember what they did. Remember that they're coming out of the Deshaun Watson bullshit. And everyone's saying that franchise. Hey, by the way, you know the rookie of the year? It is going to be Jared Verse in my ballot. Q second. Chop Robinson, who I liked a lot, is third. Fiske from the Rams is also a really good player. He's fourth. Cooper DeJean is fifth. Hey, how about what Houston did? Get this again, Zander. Last year, did they not have Will Anderson and they had C.J. Stroud, right? Those two guys. They got two guys this year. They're going to make the all-rookie team again. Kamir Lassiter and Kalen Bullock. Get this. That Nick Caserio can fucking draft. I mean, Houston is getting it right. They're getting it right. And this is why New England, you know why they don't have players? Caserio's no longer there. They're getting players, dude. I mean, those are starters on their team, too.
Yeah, Caserio's done a good job. He's done a good job for sure.
All right, Xander,
one more comment I want to push back on here. And I'm not picking on you, Trucker. I know it feels like it, but I'm not. He says, you compare Jalen with players that have been in the league more years than he has all the time. This is how I view it, Sills. And maybe I'm wrong in this. Okay?
He's 5 years in.
This is how I view it. There's the young guns who are fresh on their rookie contracts. And then there's everybody else. And I don't care if you're Matthew Stafford, who's 40 years old, or you're Jalen Hurts, who's 26. You're all competing for the Super Bowl. I put you all in one big pot, and I say, who is the best and who's going to prevail? I don't care about how many years he's been here, how many. No. Now, listen, it's fun to talk for stats and accomplishments and career accolades. But listen, that's why I always push back on Sileo. 4 years, he's already got an NFC championship ring. Jalen Hurts is technically on a good trajectory. But I'm comparing him to the whole league now because I think that's what we should be doing. We want Super Bowls.
But that right there, Xander, is why when I first came on this network, you said, well, you changed. I go, because you know why? Every year is different. You're looking at 1 year like this. You just mentioned the most important thing. You got to put 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers in the mix with Jalen Hurts this year on what quarterback that you think could win a Super Bowl this year. Who gives a shit about his resume? What does that have anything to do with what he did 11 years ago when he won the MVP and he won a Super Bowl? What's that got to do with anything in 25? Nothing. It's got look it has Sam Darnold's failures have nothing to do with 24, 25. Now, you're right about that game. That game is a red flag and it's a big one. I got it. And I even said that, did I not, on the pre and post? Hey, let's see what he does in the post game. I want in the postseason. I want to see who this guy really is a little bit here. So,
all right, real quick. Who's your one team, sleeper team to make a run? And then who's your one team that should win the first couple of games that you think is on upset watch?
Let me write it down, okay? And an upset team?
Upset, yeah. Team that's going to get upset, and then team that could go on a run that's not really expected to right now of those top 4 or 5 that we talked about.
I hate what I'm going to say, but I think the Bucks. I think the Bucks are a sleeper team. Okay, I think the Bucks, that Bucky Irvin running the ball.
All right, so real quick, how many wins are we talking for the Bucks?
Wait. You're talking about an upset? I think that Rams team, keep an eye on that Minnesota game.
Vikings. Yeah, I agree.
In LA. Keep an eye on that.
Now, here's the scary part. You said Bucks could be the team that makes a run, all right? And I don't disagree with that.
Because they've beaten both the Eagles and the Lions this year.
What kind of run? By the way, I'm surprised you didn't say Eagles as the upset alert.
No.
What kind of run you think the Bucks win?
Before I get
wait. If the Bucks win round one, Sills, and they're playing the Commanders, if the Bucks win round one and the Eagles win round one, we will play. It doesn't matter what happens in the Vikings game. We play. If the Bucks win, that's why I said to somebody earlier, there's no way, there's no scenario that could happen where we would play the Bucks in the NFC title game, because the Bucks would either be eliminated, or if they win, we'll play them, or we would have been eliminated if they make it to the title game. So
I'm worried about the Bucks.
I think it's going to be Bucks Eagles divisional. Now, if you don't want the Bucks, then you're going to be rooting for the Commanders this weekend, Eagles fans.
Here, look at this. Before I get you out of here, I wrote down the comparisons between Philadelphia and Green Bay, and the only one where you probably give Green Bay an offense is the quarterback with Love over Hurts. Every other position.
I do that either.
Oh, I do completely.
He's got more talent. He hasn't put it all together.
Nowhere in Jordan Love's league.
Listen though, you're missing what I'm saying. He's more talented. Yes, he's as streaky as they come, dude.
I know.
He really is.
I haven't seen anything out of Jalen this year.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, but every other position, it's all Eagles. Even with Josh Jacobs, who had a great year.
Yeah, right.
Defensively, I mean, Milton Williams and Van Ness are probably a push. Clark's a good player, but Davis is probably better. Devontae and then Carter. Carter's clearly better. Gary is better than Sweat. Gary's a Pro Bowler. Nolan Smith, Walker, probably push. Zach Bond is better. Blankenship is better. Xavier's better than Gardner Johnson. Nixon's pretty good, but Slay. I mean, you're better almost everywhere across the board. I just don't see it, man.
I don't think there's one position they're better than us. D-line's close. They have a good D-line.
Dude, Gary's better than Sweat. He's the starting Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I know, but overall, their D-line.
No. Overall, I just, like I said, I don't see it.
Yeah, I wasn't doing edge. I mean, if you go edge, I could.
I don't see it. I don't see
tight end. Their tight end solid too. So I mean, they got.
If Goddard plays like he did last week, I'll take Dallas.
And what makes you think he's going to play like he did last week?
Dude, there's never been a problem about ability. It's always his health.
Well, even when he's healthy,
he's available. He'll look well. It's also Hurts finding him.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, remember he had the one game this year versus the Saints. He had 170 yards. Yeah. Other than that,
why did he have that? Because somebody was hurt in that game.
Everybody was hurt, and I think AJ Brown was out in that game. But I mean, the only other games he really did shit. He had 2 60-yard games, 62 and 61. And then he had 55 last week. Every other week, 31, 38, 25, 61, 19, 35.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert's just he's not a guy in our offense, really.
No, I got it.
All right, brother. Good show.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, man.
One super chat there if you want to read it on the way out here.
Jared Goff here showed what you should get for a $50 million blitz recognition last week. Was incredible. Not wrong to expect more from Jalen.
Matt, if that ain't the truth, man. Jared Goff is incredible at that, dude. Getting through his progressions is fun to watch. It really is.
And by the way, he's learned his entire life setting pass protections. He's already passed. I got to tell you, Zander, I think the responsibility of giving Jalen Hurts pass protection this year has played a factor in his passing numbers. I think he overthinks the whole thing because he's trying to recognize where the blitz is coming from. That's why he's been high in sacks this season. And in my opinion, I think it's taken its toll on him learning. I think this year was a learning curve for him. Now, maybe this is what happens. Maybe next year will be better because he's had a year of setting protections. Can you imagine this is the first year in 8 years you've ever had as a starting quarterback where you set protections? That's crazy.
That's true. It's a lot.
You're supposed to have that skill set in college.
One more. Pumper says QB list is fraudulent without Tanner. Jalen Knights be ready to embrace their new king. Not happening, Pump.
Yeah, man, I love you, Pump, but he ain't going nowhere. That guy's got a no trade. You know what no trade means? Fuck you. I ain't going anywhere. That's
Tanner.
what that
Everybody
means.
loves Tanner. Sean, where the hell did I say that? Sean, what are you making shit up? According to Zander, Eagles are on upset alert. Sean, don't make shit up. Sales, great show, man. Catch you
I
tomorrow.
never said that either, man. That's not happening. All right. Zander, Big C, thank you, brother.
Thank you, Sales. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys.
All right, man. We appreciate you guys very much. Make sure you please hit that like button. Don't forget our great friends at BetUS. We have teamed up with our friends at BetUS to have yourself a great football season and discover BetUS Casino Playground. Now, look, if you like slots, I love slots, okay? I do. I like the slots. My wife likes the slots. BetUS has got all your games to raise your pulse and get you going here, man. I love getting there, and I love playing the slots, and that's exactly what BetUS has. They have live dealers for you, and you can sign up now. 200% sign-up bonus up to $5K, and if you're into crypto, 250% all the way up to $5K when it comes to you signing up for you to be able to be involved in this great event during the football season. And if you like the slots, get ready to rush with BetUS Casino. You're going to love the promotions. You're going to love the tournaments. They have all these great tournaments that we're going to be looking at here. Sign up now and experience the difference. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.